Governor Pritzker just said Trump's plan to send in the military is, quote, unprecedented, unwarranted, illegal, and unconstitutional. He vowed to take Trump to court to stop it, but the courts didn't stop Trump from sending the military to Los Angeles. Will they stop him now?
I don't think so, Elizabeth. I mean, look, it's always sort of a little bit of a tougher call. You don't know what the court is going to do. But what I would say is that, Donald Trump does have broad discretion as it relates to the National Guard. Remember, Gavin Newsom didn't want the National Guard going into Los Angeles, and they went into Los Angeles. So I'll say that. And look, I do think it's really important. The political context does matter. J.B. Pritzker has every intention to run for president in 2028. What's the best way? Just think of Gavin Newsom in Los Angeles. What's the best way to get Democratic base voters to know you and to like you? To fight Donald Trump in a high-profile way. So I don't doubt J.B. Pritzker thinks that Donald Trump shouldn't come in, but it is also in his political interest to have this public fight with the President of the United States.
Yeah, the politics of all this is quite strong, Chris, as you point out. Geraldo, Governor Pritzker also accused Trump of defunding the police, which is, of course, that much maligned slogan that came out a few years back in the wake of George Floyd's murder. Trump's budget request, however, for 2026 cuts hundreds of millions of dollars from programs that support police and fight crime across the country.
That may be the case, but let's just back up a second, if we may, Elizabeth, to go back to what Trump has been doing in terms of the D.C. statistics and now reaching out to maybe L.A., maybe New York, and certainly Chicago. It is not nothing to have no homicides in 11 days in Washington, D.C. It is extraordinary, moreover. I believe that Trump is onto something. I'm with him on this. I believe the federal government does have a role. Many of these cities are woefully underfunded, not by the federal government, but by their own constituents.
Local governments.
Chicago being an example. Chicago should have 13,000 cops. They have 11,000 cops. That's not Trump's fault. That's Chicago's fault. And Governor Pritzker, God bless him, and I think he's an excellent candidate for president. Still, name calling with Trump, I mean, what's that about? I don't understand, other than, to your point that the way to gain political support is to attack Trump. I agree with that, and I think he's a very attractive candidate. I said earlier today that he's my third favorite on the Democratic side, after Newsom, #1, and Josh Shapiro, #2. But to make of Trump the demon, when you have a situation where Chicago, about 1/3 the size of New York, with twice as many homicides, almost. I mean, that's a reality that if you want to save young black lives, you want the cops to be involved. The fact that 11 days have gone by in Washington, D.C. without a homicide, that's I want everyone to hear that. I want all of the mothers that you played earlier in the program. Let them talk about what their lives are like without, police, when their sons go out every night and don't know whether they're going to come back alive or not. It's to me, it's extraordinary, about time.
We should point out, D.C. did have 16 days without murders back in February and March of this year. So it is fantastic that they've had 11 days without a murder, but it's not extraordinarily unprecedented. It happened a few months ago. However, Chris, you do point out that the politics of this works for Donald Trump. He's tough on crime. He's calling Chicago a disaster and a killing field and saying that Chicagoans are screaming for us to come. That might not be true, but the fact is nobody's talking about the things he doesn't want us to talk about. They're talking about him being tough on crime.
Yeah. That's right. I always say, look, being a good politician is like being a good military general. You got to pick the ground that is most favorable to you to have fights on. And in this case, this is favorable ground for Donald Trump. The problem is he forces them into answering an unanswerable political question. How much crime is an acceptable amount of crime for you to allow, right?
Who wants to say don't fight crime? Nobody wants to say that.
And I mean, Donald Trump's saying, like, we need to get rid of all crime in cities. Okay, that's unlikely to happen, but it's not an unworthy worthy goal. And I think the average person thinks like, yeah, like I would love for there to be less crime. I would love to feel less vulnerable or less threatened or less safe, less unsafe. And so I actually think it's very stronger. It's why, by the way, I think, you know, regardless of the challenges that will come, regardless of J.B. Pritzker, it's why if it's not Chicago, maybe it's Baltimore or Memphis, you know, I mean, I think he's going to find a place to try to replicate this. The only thing I'll say very quickly, Elizabeth, is remember, D.C. is a federalized city, always has been, right?
None of these other cities are.
No, his ability to he can't come in like he did in D.C. and legally take over the police department, for example. He can do that in D.C. for a 30-day period.
Can't do it in Chicago.
He can't do that in Chicago.
Okay,
so
super
he
quick.
can call up the National Guard, but his hands are a little bit more tied.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.